All of you work at jobs, I bet you. All of you went to school. All of you had families. Those were familiar faces. All of us have them. All of us have familiar faces in our lives. If we're smart, take a few pictures of those so we can remember them as time goes on. This is about a hero. You know, there's a lot of heroes that are unsung. Well, I decided to sing about this one. He's from West Texas, way up in the Panhandle. Went to Texas A&M, joined the Navy, had never seen the ocean before. And he was real good with electronics and gadgetry like that. Made crystal radios for everybody in town. In a little place called Lockney, Texas. Lockney, Texas, in the Panhandle. So there he is, and a big war broke out. Started with bombing of Pearl Harbor. And there was a battleship there called the Tennessee. And that battleship, they called them battle wagons, by the way. That battle wagon became a platform for a real top secret weapon called radar, which allowed that ship to see way out there, further than anybody with binoculars could at the time. Way further. And this whole time he had a real sweet disposition, and he loved to hum and sing and carry on anything he was doing, any little thing he was doing, working in the yard, working in his electronics or whatever. He was always singing and humming, but he could not carry a tune in a bucket. And so here he is out there working, and he would be like that. It would go on all day. It was quite amazing, but he had fun doing it. So this is a little tune, and peace dancing, peace is joy standing still, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Everything is beautiful with a little song, whoa, whoa. Familiar faces up before dawn. Hey Mac, they asked, where did you come from? Radio and radar man from over our sons, our ears and eyes, the battle wagons, born from the dust bowl, steaming to the atoll, rush to the rising sun, to meet the rising sun. We stopped the rising sun. Now, it's a curious thing about that radar. When they pulled out of up there in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle area, and they headed up to the Aleutian Islands because there was rumors that the Japanese fleet was coming to invade us. And so they got that radar tweaked up, and they're looking in, straining their eyes, looking for that fleet, because they're up there with all that string of islands that goes out there. You know, the one that Sarah Palin saw across over there to Russia, right across those islands, and they're looking for those on the radar. And the next thing you know, sure enough, there they are. And so they unleashed, in the middle of the night, they unleashed those big cannons on that battle wagon and pounded those ships all night. And in the morning, when the fog cleared, they realized there wasn't one ship. It was all islands. Well, that was a rather embarrassing start for radar. And they used a whole lot of ammunition, and now they had to be resupplied on top of it. It was bad, bad, bad. But as the war went along, the upgrades up into the 4th generation, and now the Tennessee is at Okinawa. And it's late in the war, and the Japanese are very desperate, and they have kamikazes coming, and there are 6 of them headed right at them. And they can see it on the radar, and at this time it had been upgraded so much that fire control, all the guns on the ship that shoot for planes and such, and for their long-range cannons, are all controlled by the radar. And so it's like a video game. It's like a real early video game, and so they're there controlling all the firepower from the ship to knock these planes down. 6 planes are coming at them, 5 disappear off the screen, but 1 keeps coming, and it keeps coming. And you got to realize where the radio shack is. It's right behind the conning tower and just in front of the smokestack, and that's the target for the plane. Go down the smokestack, it blows the boiler up, the ship busts in half, and it's over. And that's where that plane's headed for. And the next thing you know, there is a tremendous crash outside the radio shack. And when they step out to see what had happened, 40 guys that he had served with for years, through all the combat thing, this was the first and only really direct hit they had taken. 40 guys are dead, and many, many more are wounded. And he carried that guilt with him for the rest of his life, as if survivor's guilt. It was as if it was his fault, that something he could have done could have made a difference. Well, he got out of that, and the next thing you know, broke out was a Cold War. And it kind of erupted with a start with this little bitty basketball-sized thing called Sputnik. It was about the size of a basketball, and it was from the USSR. And the assumption was, the Russians are far, far superior to us. We got to hurry up quick and get our space program in gear. Familiar faces up before dawn. Hey, Mac, they inquire. What's Sputnik doing? Corporations like tribes did their Cold War dance. It's frequency controlled, analyzed their chance. Fearing dragons and bears, watch a rocket's red glare, and big birds fly to the moon. A giant step from man to new ruin. He was able to keep his tune. Dum-dee-dum-dee-dee, da-dee-da, dum-dee-dee, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Standing still, whoa, yeah, 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 yeah. So, when the war was over, he came through Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and he met a woman that worked with the FBI. And they got married. And they did that dancing, and it brought him peace and joy. But there was something happening to him. He wasn't even aware of it. Nobody was aware of it at the time. Who out here owns a microwave? Yeah, I bet you most of you cook in that microwave from time to time. Do you know that the discovery of the use of that microwave was a total accident? Was not intended. It was a bunch of guys working on radars in freezing cold weather, and they had candy bars in their pockets. And the next thing you know, they looked down and their pocket was all melted chocolate. Well, how did that happen? And they got to thinking about it. What's going on here? And they realized that radar was cooking that chocolate and melting it. And from that, they scaled it down and made microwave ovens. Well, you can imagine if it was cooking chocolate all those years, and they used to work on them while the radars were hot, turned on, it was cooking their bodies. And so lots of guys that started out in radar got various forms of cancer. Familiar faces up before dawn. Hey, Mac, they cried out. Hum one more tune. America's land, it was his land. Everyone knew before he raised his hand. Though his smile was bright, his blood was too white. On his day to meet the sun, with the dawn, his day is done. Good morning. Rising sun.